Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K. I'm so happy to share my first design team project for this month for Kraft Supplies for You. And again, for those of you who are new to my channel, Kraft Supplies for You is an online store that carries laces and trims, bling, embellishments, there's charms, and the flowers, which I adore the flowers at Kraft Supplies for You. Just so you guys do know, I didn't know this when I did my design team package video, but Kraft Supplies for You has a sale still going on for their flowers, so the 60% off on flowers has continued. So if you guys missed out on that last month, the store owner did decide to continue that just to reduce some of her inventory in the flowers. And I'm a huge fan of the flowers. I did do a haul video for Kraft Supplies for You also this month for the flowers specifically because I took advantage of that last month for 60% off. So if you want to see a few of the flowers up close on video, I do have a video out there that I will share with you guys, the link below. And the other little bit of business that I wanted to let you guys know, or some of my viewers know, is that there are some guest design team openings on the Kraft Supply for You team. So if you guys want to be part of our team, we'd certainly love to have you. You just need to hop over to the blog, the Kraft Supply for You blog, to check out the full rules and details of that. And again, I will have that listed below in the description box along with the other social media sites for Kraft Supplies for You. And I'm also still going to link all of the other ladies who are on our design team because they provide so much inspiration every month for different projects that you can make with laces and trims and bling and flowers and different products that you can purchase at Kraft Supplies for You. And so that is all of my business that I wanted to talk about. So now I want to get into my project, and I'm really excited about this project. It's another item on my crafty bucket list that I wanted to try, and that is a loaded hoop. And specifically, I kind of wanted to make more of a lace and trim and fabric loaded hoop versus the flower, or not the flower, but the paper loaded hoops that a lot of people are making. And so this is my version of a loaded hoop. And before I start taking things out and talking about everything, I did want to let you guys know that I do go through all the embellishments that I made to stick in this hoop at the end of the video. I did have everything out of the packages and filmed it just so you guys could see everything better, because I know that the glare once I've packaged things is really bad on the camera. And so just so you know that I will go through the embellishments more thoroughly at the end of the video. So just stay tuned for that. So for right now, I'm just going to talk about the hoop and take all the items out so we can see the hoop better. But like I said, I have a ton of different embellishments that I threw into this loaded hoop that I created. They're all paper crafting, most of them are. But I did, of course, use my Kraft Supplies for You flowers and some trims on some of them. And the only thing that I didn't go through on that little embellishment part coming up in this video is I did also create these little thread spools or ribbon spools, and I just did that by tracing paper and then I wrapped some ribbon around them. But I did want to just point out at the top of these that I use Kraft Supply for You flowers. Here is a pretty baby pink one. This is a perfect pastel pink or shabby chic pink color. And then in the corner here I have a couple of the parchment rose buds sticking out. And then here on this one, it's just another one of the parchment flowers that I just wanted to point out to you guys. Okay, so here is the loaded hoop that I'm excited to share with you guys. There's a ton of Kraft Supply for You trim in this hoop. I did start off with a 10-inch hoop, just a wood hoop, and I did opt to actually paint my hoop a little bit with gesso first, just because when you look at the inside you might see a little bit of it, and I just wanted it to be white because I really wanted this to be shabby chic. And so I did cover up the wood, and then even on the side too, it's painted white first before I added my laces and trims, just again because I wanted to really stick with the shabby chic theme. So for what I ended up doing then when I created this loaded hoop is I have some pink fabric here, and then on the back side there's white fabric, and then I put some of this lace over it, and this lace actually came from a curtain, and I'm just going to kind of move it here so you can kind of see that there's a little bit of a flower pattern. And then around the outside back here, just to make it look nice and pretty, I did edge it with some trim from my stash, and this is just a whole bunch of lace gathered up. And then at the top, where I have my little hanging piece right here, I did add one of the Kraft Supply for You flowers. And it's kind of a little rolled rose, which I love. This would be also a perfect flower if you make your own flowers on a material and you need a little center. This would be a really nice center for a flower. Then if you guys watched my design team video, I did talk about some of the charms, or the charm that I picked up from Kraft Supplies for You. And it says, made with love. It's a little heart, and there's a lock and a key. There's a keyhole and a little key that goes into it. And I think that was just adorable. And I picked that up because this is what I wanted to do with it. I wanted to hang it from one of these little bulb safety pins and then add my little tag to it that says handmade by Julie K. And I wanted to be able to have these to hang on any lace or trim or fabric type projects, because it's really hard to stamp sometimes on projects, or it might not look very nice. So if I gift this to someone and they really don't want my name on there, they can take it off, but it's also on there and it's kind of inconspicuous this way, just hanging off on the back side. So now on to the front side. I did create a pocket with some of this little eyelet material that I had in my stash. On the inside of the hoop, just because I like to have everything finished off and extra details to everything, I did add some little braid trim on the inside. On the outside of my hoop, I layered several layers of Kraft Supply for You trim. I first started off with this gorgeous organza satin trim. There's 2 layers to that. And she does have, this isn't a white, but she does have it in several different colors. And also when you purchase this one, you get several different yards depending upon which one you buy. It's either 2 or 3 yards depending upon the color and the style. So on top of that one, I added this sheer pink trim, and it's gathered, and I do love it. It's a pastel Shabby Chic pink color. It's a perfect color for those of you guys who love Shabby Chic. And on top of that, I added the Kraft Supply for You. This is a rosette trim, and it's in pink, and she also has that in white also. And I just like that this is just a tad bit darker because it kind of really brings out the other pinks. And then on my pocket, I did make a bow, and I'm happy to say I used my bow maker that I picked up from Kraft Supply for You. And this was really fun and easy to do. Just so you guys know, I make really bad bows, and this made it really easy. And just so you know, the bow maker does come with some very nice instructions. It was really easy to follow along, and so this is the bow that I made. It's kind of a double bow right here. And I just used some pink satin trim from my stash. And then to finish off my bow, I added this beautiful satin trim from Kraft Supplies for You, or not satin trim, but satin flower. And you can see that there are some beads on this one also, which really makes it a nice finished look. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous flower. And so after that was done, I added flowers up to the top, on the top of the hoop to finish it off. And so I started off with this organza flower that has the gorgeous beads in the middle. And again, this is a Kraft Supply for You one. And then next to it, I added these 2 flowers, and they all are also satin with some little beads in the middle of them. And this one comes on a stem of 3, but I just chose to use 2 of them. And then behind there, I do have some and they kind of got hidden once I started gluing everything down, but there are some white leaves that were on some of these flowers that I did choose to keep up there. And then I also added these flowers also from Kraft Supplies for You, and these are multi-layered flowers. There's 3 layers of petals on these ones, and the top one is a sheer layer, again with some beautiful bead stamens in the middle of these. And then I also chose to hang off just some pearl bead trim from my stash right there in the middle, just to make it look pretty when it's hanging up. And again, there's just a ribbon hanging up at the top to hang it. And so that is my loaded hoop. I really love how it turned out. I love the different flowers from Kraft Supplies for You that I use. I kind of mixed and matched some different fabric flowers that are available in the store. And so now I am going to talk a little bit about the embellishments that I put in. I did use a lot of the paper flowers from Kraft Supplies for You to create the embellishments. So I will be right back with that video to share with you guys. I wanted to share with you guys the different embellishments that I created up close and not in their packaging, just so you could get a better look at them, and the different Kraft Supply for You flowers and little embellishments that I used on them. And so here are the first two that I created, and these are little bird cages. And for right now, the birds are loose. Again, I'm just going to gift these as embellishments to someone, and they can either, you know, take these embellishments off and use them on a card. But I decided to leave the birds off in case they wanted to glue them right here, or if they wanted to put them behind the cage or next to the cage, they'd have that option. So for right now, the birds on both of these are loose, but I just kind of stuck them behind the little flowers there, which I do think is really cute that way. So now looking at this little bird cage, I have all these flowers are Kraft Supplies for You. So here's a little bit larger pink one. It's that baby pink. It's really beautiful. And then here's a couple of the parchment ones right here on the side. There's a pink one and the closed white one. And then I used a couple of leaves, and these came off of some fabric flowers from Kraft Supplies for You that I stuck right there. And behind this little cluster, I have some of these acrylic wheat sprays that are also from Kraft Supplies for You. This one's kind of in the pink ombre colors, but she does also carry that in a ton of other colors. I do love these for my flower clusters. And at the top, I decided to just kind of keep it simple. This one, I added just a little bow with another Kraft Supply for You flower. This is one of the two-tone pink ones that she carries, and these are paper flowers. So that was this bird cage. And then this bird cage, I have a little bit different flower cluster here in the corner. I did start off with a couple of doilies that came out of the mixed doily bag from Kraft Supplies for You. And on top of that, I layered, this is a acrylic flower bead from her store. And inside of that acrylic flower bead, I did layer a little flower that came off of a trim from Kraft Supply for You, and I put a little pink bead from my stash in there, and I love how that turned out. It's dimensional, but it's gorgeous and it's shabby. And then next to that little main centerpiece, I added this little fabric flower from Kraft Supply for You, and also one of these little pink flowers from Kraft Supply for You. And then this little bead spray also comes from Kraft Supplies for You. And then these are also some of the other paper flowers from Kraft Supplies for You. That same pink one up here, there's white and pink. I also created a couple sets of little teacups or coffee cups that are done in a shabby style. All of my embellishments are made using the Prima Love Story, if you guys are curious about the paper collection. So this first one, I had the two little teacups, and again, I layered some of my Kraft Supply for You flowers in there. There's this gorgeous fabric one, and all of these come off of like larger clusters, so you just cut them off. So I have this one, and then also this little rosebud one, which is really pretty. And then I have these mauve ones too. And then if you look at these little pearls that are sticking out, these came off of a larger white fabric flower, and it was the same cluster that this one came out of, and I hate to see things go to waste, and so I added these little beads to there. They were already on the little clear line right there, but they just worked perfectly for that little flower cluster. And so I was really thrilled with how that one came out. And then here's the second set. Again, some more of those beads that I took off of this flower cluster. I added a parchment flower from Kraft Supply for You, and then also a paper pink flower from Kraft Supplies for You. I added some little flower stamens from my stash, and I kind of called that good for my little teacup, but I do love how those turned out. Another embellishment that I like to make using laces and trims and flowers are these little dress forms. And so here are 3 different ones that I created. Again, it's all Kraft Supply for You. So I had this gorgeous little pink trim, and I just kind of gathered it up and glued it down onto the dress form. And then I added this little Kraft Supply for You flower. Again, this comes from a bigger cluster, and I just cut off that one. And then I have some little bead trim behind there as my little belt. So that's my dress form number 1. my second dress form. With this one, I went ahead and added up here just some pearl trim. And then behind here as the belt, you can kind of see I have some rosette, pink rosette trim from Kraft Supplies for You. I also have this really pretty pink gathered trim from Kraft Supplies for You. And for here, for my focus on this belt, I added one of the acrylic bead flowers and added a little pearl center to it. And I really love how that turned out. It's so cute. And she does have these flowers in other colors, if you are wondering, in her store. And then the last dress form that I created, I added this kind of like eyelash type trim, dangle trim from Kraft Supplies for You. It is, or fringe trim, I guess is probably the technical term. Fringe trim from Kraft Supplies for You. And I just layered it up several times on the dress form. It kind of reminds me of the dresses from the 1920s, the little flapper dresses. And on top of that, if you look closely, I have another Kraft Supply for You trim that I use as the belt. And then this little flower also comes from Kraft Supplies for You. And then I added kind of a double layer up here of pearl trim to kind of make it look like a necklace. So that was my third dress form that I created. Next, I created some rosettes and hearts. Again, everything, all the flowers are on these are Kraft Supplies for You. So I'm just going to hold them up so you guys can check them out and look at them. My rosettes, I kind of have a couple different sizes. And then the heart embellishments, which you guys have seen before on my channel. Just something I really enjoy making and giving out to people. And I love adding my little Kraft Supply for You flowers. And for these, I used the paper flowers, but you can easily intermix the fabric flowers also from Kraft Supplies for You. So like on this last dress form, I had this little fabric flower that would have looked really cute also on either one of these embellishments. So here's the next little two, very similar, just different sentiments on them. And the rosettes are different sizes, but I just wanted to show those. Then here is a set of hearts that I created. The next set of embellishments that I wanted to share with you guys are some little teapots that I created. And again, all the little flowers come from Kraft Supply for You. This is a pink one, and this one's kind of a two-tone pink one. And these ones are the white ones. These are all paper flowers. But again, you could easily add some of the smaller fabric flowers to these teapots if you wanted to, that Kraft Supply for You carries. So I'm just going to hold them up. I have shown little teapot embellishments that I've created before on my channel. And I believe I also have a tutorial on how to make some of these teapots if you guys are interested. But I did want to show those. And so these will be going into my project, my little loaded hoop. And I will also, be bagging all of these up. I also have one little set of jars that I created. And on these, I did a little flower cluster with some of the Kraft Supply for You flowers. Just in the two different colors of pink and then the white ones. And then I have a couple of like little remnant bead sprays that hanging off of there. And I do love how those turned out. They're really cute and really shabby. And then I just wanted to show you guys real quick. I did also create bag toppers, and on these bag toppers I did add some of those embellishments that I've just shown you guys, whether they're the hearts or the canning jars or the teapots. But again, I just used the Kraft Supply for You flowers, and so my plan is to put all of those embellishments that I just showed you guys in bags with my little bag toppers, but I thought it'd be easier for you guys to see them outside of the bags. So before I bag them, I figured I would show you guys and my little toppers. Thanks so much for stopping by and checking out my Shabby Chic loaded hoop. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them below in the comment section, of course, with any other comments that you have. Again, I will have all of my links listed below in the description box for Kraft Supplies for You, the social media sites, the store, and the other ladies who are on the design team. I also wanted to let you know, if you wanted to look at any of the embellishments up closer that I created, I will have pictures posted on the Kraft Supply for You Facebook group, that if you guys go in and subscribe to that you can see them up close. And then I will also post them on the Kraft Supply for You Pinterest page, so you guys can also go there to look at the embellishments up close if you want to see the embellishments or the hoop. All those will be posted there. So again, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day and happy crafting.